Hey everyone, this is Helena Hart, and I'm so excited to be talking with Peta April today. Peta is a love and breakup coach who specializes in working with women who have had some really painful and heartbreaking experiences in their love life to remove their own internal blocks to love so that they can really make some shifts and start attracting different types of men and different experiences so they can really create and maintain that healthy, loving relationship that they've always wanted. So welcome, Peta. Thank you so much for talking with me again today.
Hi, Helena, and thanks for having me. And fortunately or unfortunately, I do arrive at this type of work through having had a lot of my own painful experiences in love as well. So that's why I'm excited to share all that I've learned and all that I've been able to transform for myself and my clients with you today, and a little bit of some insights on what's coming up as an exciting event that we're going to be talking about as well.
Absolutely. So everyone make sure to stay till the end of this video to get all the details on that. So we are going to be talking about a really important topic, and that is the hidden secret that actually sabotages a man's ability to get close to you, or sabotages your success in love if you're single and looking to attract the right man for you. And perhaps you keep attracting the same kind of men over and over where it just doesn't work out. Or if you're with a man and things might be okay for a little while, but there's recurring conflict and it doesn't feel as easy and effortless as you'd like it to be. So let's just jump right in, Peta. What is that hidden secret that sabotages a woman's success and sabotages a man's ability to get close to her in the relationship?
Yeah, well, there's one thing I noticed, Helena, through working with all of the amazing women that I've worked with, and they may be very, very intelligent, very well read. They may be very self-aware, have done lots of personal development, and yet often this area of creating a beautiful, lasting partnership is the one thing in their life that they're really struggling with. And I guess the short answer to that, and I'm going to go into, I guess, tell you a bit of a story and go into it in a little bit more detail, but the short answer to that, I think, is that what often drives a lot of our behaviors and a lot of our choices in partner and our choices in love is stuff that's going on in our unconscious. So no matter how much we may intentionally want to behave a certain way or have, a checklist of things that we're looking for in a man, we can still end up in unhealthy relationships and crappy dynamics with men because are often going and running with things that are happening below our conscious awareness. And some of those patterns and things I like to call love blocks and explore in a little bit more detail. But yeah, it's interesting. Has that been your experience as well?
Oh yeah, I mean, for those of you who have been watching my videos for a while, my background's in psychology, and I've really found that, yeah, your subconscious is kind of running the show a lot of the times without our awareness, right? Like we might consciously think, well, I want to, bring this man closer, or I want to attract a really healthy relationship. But if our subconscious is afraid of real intimacy or commitment or something like that, it's going to look for ways to sabotage things. And for everyone watching, let us know in the comment section, do you tend to feel like maybe you have certain parts of yourself that act out and sabotage you in your relationships, sometimes at the worst possible moments? I know I've certainly been there. Most of us can relate. So, what does that look like? Can you give me some examples of a way where, a woman's subconscious might be kind of running the show and sabotaging her success in her love life?
Yeah, and I can give you an example and probably speak for one of my biggest love blocks. And what I tended to do is think, be attracted to a man and really kind of tune into the chemistry that we had. So even if there were red flags in terms of him being an ideal partner long term, if there was crazy good chemistry, I would allow myself to go with that, even if we're a complete mismatch. And sometimes I've had relationships with people of much different age and things like that. So sort of ignoring all of those red flags and going with the chemistry without really bearing in mind that that chemistry is coming from our unconscious. And often what's triggering us to feel those strong desires towards certain people is actually coming from a place that's not particularly healthy. It's coming from some of our childhood patterns and our experience and our relationship to love when we're younger, and our dynamics with our parents, and all kinds of unconscious stuff. So yeah, that surrendering to the chemistry and then ending up in crazy emotional roller coaster relationships is probably a big one that I see a lot.
Oh yeah, I'm just like going crazy over here because yeah, that was certainly the case for me. I've really found that instant chemistry can kind of blow away our best interests sometimes, as these intense, sometimes obsessive feelings and highs that we can get with a man who kind of fits right into our old relationship patterns, right? Or what love felt like to us earlier in life is not in alignment with what we truly desire now. But since it feels so familiar to us, it can be like, oh, this man feels like home with me. Then we create all these labels like he's my soulmate or twin flame, or we're meant to be together, right? Like, and it's just our subconscious kind of creating this spark of attraction with the kind of man who feels familiar, right? Or who fits into our old patterns of what love felt like to us, perhaps earlier in life. That's kind of my understanding from it. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's where I find things like attachment theory and Margot, which we will be going exploring more in our event, but things like that really shine a light on what happened for us as a child and the kinds of relationship dynamics we had and those childhood patterns, and how that really influences our choices and the chemistry that we have in men. And I'm very passionate about it. Often it requires going back and healing some of those perhaps attachment wounds or unmet childhood needs, healing some of that stuff that happened in our early childhood before we can then come to a place of having healthy functioning relationships in our adult life.
I totally agree. Because we were talking earlier before we started recording that we could give you like the perfect thing to say to a guy or do this in this situation. But the truth is, until you have some of these inner blocks to love healed, or I don't know how you like to talk about it, but until you kind of remove some of these love blocks, you might get a short-term result, but you'll typically not get those permanent lasting results that I know you're looking for in your love life. So this is a really important topic. Peta, what are some things a woman can do if they find themselves in a situation where maybe they attract the same kind of man over and over, or they keep like sabotaging their relationship with their partner? Do you have any obviously there's a lot that goes into this, but do you have any tips or tools for women who are looking to remove some of these inner blocks in their subconscious mind so they can get those permanent results in their love life?
Yeah, it's such a big question. And I think in my experience, I've probably identified, being able to sort of categorize maybe about a dozen different key love blocks, which we're going to be exploring again in the event. So I think what's really important, the first thing is to actually sort of say, and I know this is the sort of work that all love coaches do with their clients, is instead of blaming, the guy that we ended up with or the situation that we ended up in and putting that blame outside of us, is taking responsibility first of all and acknowledging, okay, maybe this is a pattern and I'm creating these relationship experiences myself. And when we take back control of that, then we can actually do something about it. Because a lot of people kind of stay stuck in victim mode, right? And, and blaming this ex and blaming that situation. That's just really disempowering. So taking back control of, or taking responsibility for the results that you've been getting, and then you can actually start to look at, okay, so what were my patterns? Identifying what those patterns of potential blocks are is kind of the start, really.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, it can be so easy to just blame men, and men do this too as well. It can go both ways, or just say, oh, all men are afraid of commitment, or they just want sex, or they're, something like that, whatever your pattern is. But the truth is, where's your power in that? It's nowhere. I mean, not only is it not true, there are just so many available men out there who want a committed relationship. But if that's not what you're attracting, like you said, Peta, you are the common denominator. So it's your pattern. So what can we do to shift it so that a different kind of man starts showing up, or the dynamic between you and your man can start to shift? So This is really important. I know there is so much that goes into this, and we did definitely want to mention this free virtual event that Peta is putting on very soon, something I was a part of personally that was so amazing. It will really help you remove some of these blocks to love so that the right guy just shows up and it's completely effortless. Or your man will start to see you in a whole new way and feel safe to come close to you. So Peta, before we jump into that, do you want to recap this, or is there any like last words of wisdom or anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, I think it's important to remember that a mindset is fundamental to creating a great result in anything. And I guess for those of you that are familiar with the concept of having the right money mindset and clearing out, I guess, your money blocks or your abundance blocks, will know that you can have all the investment and wealth creating strategies in the world, but if you've got money mindset challenges, it's going to be difficult to create wealth abundance, right? And we've heard countless stories of people who win lotto and then they end up losing it all in just a shorter space of time because they haven't created the right mindset to hold on to that level of abundance. And I would encourage everyone to understand that love is really the same. We can have all the right attraction strategies, we can know all the right texting scripts and all of that external stuff. But if we don't have the internal, the unconscious programs, those blocks and those old patterns, if we haven't got those sorted out, we can meet an amazing guy and it probably won't stick. Or it might last a little while and then we'll wonder why it just sort of faded out. Or even worse, we might meet a great guy and we might not even realize he's our guy. That's how stubborn sometimes some of these blocks can be.
Oh yeah, it's so true. Like if you don't have this framework in your brain, you might not even see the great guys who are right in front of you, or if you do, you might not be attracted to them, right? Because that doesn't feel familiar to you. You might feel like a foreign animal to you, and you're gonna have to get used to it, right? So that brings us to this amazing free virtual event. Peta, tell us about your event. I'm so excited to share this with my community.
Yeah, thanks, Helena. I am super excited about bringing to you at the end of January the 28th to be exact, the Love Breakthrough Virtual Retreat. And the reason I created this event and have got the most amazing women to join me in sharing an incredible amount of beautiful wisdom about those particular love blocks and patterns is because I also kind of sat down and thought, if I was me 10 years ago, before I knew what I knew now and had all of this experience and was having a really hard time in love or just struggling with men and connections and just finding it a bit difficult, what would I want to do? Would I want to go on a retreat? Would I want to sit down with, the most wise, beautiful, understanding, compassionate women that could really help me in this area? And what supportive tools and resources, meditations and sound healings, and what sort of hypnosis tools and things like that could I access to help me shift my experience of love to something that's removing all those blocks and patterns and can, I guess, forge a path forward that feels really aligned and really healthy. And so that's why I've pulled this event together. It's 14 days and it's just like sitting down and having an amazing conversation with 14 beautiful women and a whole heap of supportive tools and resources to go along with it. And it's essentially like a virtual retreat that you can do in your own home. So it's really exciting and I'm really excited to share it with all of your tribe.
I love it. Yeah, so it's totally free. I was a part of it, so you can get my video that I created with Peta. It was very, very in-depth, and I kind of talked about some things that I haven't really talked about too much before here on my channel. So everyone go check that out. And there's also corresponding free gifts, right? So this is like a whole retreat, and it's 100% free. So the link is in the description right below this video. I'll also put it in the comment section. Anything else you'd like to share, Peta, before we close out, either about your event or just about this topic on this thing that sabotages a woman's success in her love life?
Yeah, I would just like to mention that this event is actually a bit different to the regular sort of online virtual summit style event that perhaps some of your audience have experienced before, because we really do go very deep on the specific love blocks. And I know ours was an amazing, amazing training, Helena, about I guess the inner dynamics of that masculine and feminine, not the surface stuff. We really went deep on this and actually provided some actionable tools and strategies and processes to be able to clear those particular blocks. And so it's not just sort of fluff and conversation. This is real transformation that we're delivering in this event, and that's why I'm so passionate and so grateful to have had you join the panel.
Yeah, I love that. About for everyone familiar with my work and some of my programs and videos, it's like I am not about giving you just tools and things that you've heard a million times before. So we really go deep and give you actual things you can do, very actionable steps you can take in any given moment, you know, that's going to really, like for the video we create together, activate your feminine energy to really bring a man closer or attract the right kind of man towards you. And I promise it's not the general stuff you've heard a million times, like listen to music or take a bubble bath, right? We go really deep in our video that we created, as I like to do. So that was phenomenal, and I can't wait to, you know, see all the other experts and get their great free gifts and everything. So everyone, please go check that out. It's totally free. You know, you can attend as my guest for free, and I'm so excited to, you know, join myself and check out everything that all the other experts had to say. So thank you so much again, Peta. This was really wonderful, and I hope that we can do something like this again soon.